Circleville, Ohio, a small town, quiet streets, a place where time seems to stand still, and the hustle and bustle of the big city feels a world away. The kind of place where everyone knows your name, where neighbors greet each other with a smile and a wave, and community ties run deep. But behind the picket fences and friendly waves, a darkness was brewing, a shadow that would soon cast a long and chilling pall over the town. It started with Mary Gillespie, a school bus driver, a woman who was well-known and well-liked in the community, an ordinary life about to be turned upside down. Her days of routine and normalcy were about to be shattered. A plain white envelope arrived in her mailbox. Inside, a letter, handwritten, accusing. Someone was watching her. Someone knew her secrets. Secrets she thought were well hidden. Fear crept in like a chill, the kind of fear that gnaws at you, that keeps you awake at night. Mary tried to brush it off. A cruel prank? She hoped so. She wanted to believe it was just a bad joke, but the letters kept coming. Day after day, week after week. Each one more unsettling than the last. Each one more disturbing than the last. The words were like daggers, cutting deeper each time. The writer knew intimate details of her life, things she had never shared with anyone, things no stranger should know, whispers of an affair, threats against her family. The letters were tearing her world apart. The letters were signed the Circleville Writer, a name that would soon become infamous, a chilling moniker that would soon echo through the town's history, a name that would be spoken in hushed tones, a name that would haunt the town for years to come. Circleville, once a place of comfort, felt like it was closing in on Mary. The walls of her home felt like they were closing in. The town that once felt safe now felt like a prison. The letters were a poison pen, dripping venom into her life. Who was behind it? What did they want? The questions were endless, the answers elusive. The mystery had begun, and it was about to drag the entire town into its grip. Circleville would never be the same again. The letters weren't just for Mary anymore. They spread like wildfire, delivered to other residents, spreading fear and suspicion. The writer seemed to know everyone's secrets, affairs, lies, hidden resentments. They were all laid bare in the stark, unsettling handwriting. The town was on edge. Neighbors eyed each other with suspicion. Friendships fractured under the weight of paranoia. Who could be trusted? The writer played a cruel game, prying into lives, exposing secrets, turning neighbor against neighbor. The letters became more menacing. Threats escalated. The writer seemed to enjoy the fear they were creating, the power they held. Circleville was trapped in a nightmare. The writer was pulling the strings. Everyone was a puppet. The letters demanded silence, threatened those who dared to speak out. But the more the writer tried to silence the town, the louder the whispers became. Everyone had a theory. Everyone was a suspect. The mystery deepened. The grip of fear tightened. August 19th, 1977. A day that would forever change the small town of Circleville, Ohio. A date forever etched in Circleville's memory. The town, known for its quiet streets and close-knit community, would never be the same. Ron Gillespie, Mary's husband, received a phone call. It was late in the evening, and the call was unexpected. A voice on the other end, taunting, provoking. The words were sharp, filled with malice. Goaded by the call, Ron stormed out of the house. He grabbed his gun, got into his car, his mind racing, fueled by anger and fear. He sped off into the night. The rural roads, usually so familiar, now seemed ominous and foreboding. The call, it seemed, was the writer's most twisted act yet. The letters had been disturbing, but this was a new level of terror. Miles down a dark country road, Ron's car crashed into a tree. The impact was devastating. He was found dead at the scene. The town's worst fears had come true. The car was a wreck. But something wasn't right. Ron had been shot, a single bullet wound. The mystery deepened. The gun found in the car. It raised more questions than answers. Was it suicide, as the authorities initially ruled? The evidence seemed to point in that direction. Or was it something more sinister? The town couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story. The timing was too much of a coincidence. The letters, the call, the crash, it all seemed connected. The call, the crash, the gunshot. Each event a piece of a dark puzzle. The town was in shock, grief mixed with terror. The sense of safety shattered. The writer had taken things to a terrifying new level. The letters were no longer just threats, they were actions. The question haunted Circleville. Had the writer taken a life? The fear was palpable. Or was Ron driven to suicide by the relentless torment? The psychological toll was undeniable. The line between victim and perpetrator blurred. The truth seemed elusive. The truth, lost somewhere on that dark road. A mystery that would haunt Circleville for years to come. Ron's death didn't stop the letters. They continued, even more brazen, more chilling. It was as if the writer was emboldened, daring anyone to stop them. The letters were now addressed to Ron's daughter, accusing Mary of being involved in his death. The messages were left in plain sight, tacked to her house, tied to her mailbox, a constant, terrifying reminder that the nightmare wasn't over. Then came the booby trap, a rigged gun, found attached to the underside of Mary's school bus, aimed at the driver's seat. The chilling message was clear. The writer wasn't finished. They were willing to kill again. The fear in Circleville reached a fever pitch. The town held its breath, waiting for the next move, praying it wouldn't be another tragedy. The writer had become a ghost, unseen but ever present. Their words were a curse on the town, their motives a chilling mystery. Circleville was trapped, held hostage by fear and uncertainty. Section 5, Behind Bars, but was he the writer? 1983, a break in the case, or so it seemed. Paul Freshour, a co-worker of Mary's, was arrested. The charge attempted murder. The town was in shock. The evidence? Witnesses claimed to have seen Paul near Mary's bus around the time the booby trap was discovered. And the handwriting. The prosecution's case hinged on it. They were confident. They claimed it was a match to the Circleville Letters. Freshour maintained his innocence, insisting he was being framed. He denied any involvement with the letters, stating he had no reason to harm Mary, but the jury believed the evidence. He was found guilty. The town felt a mix of relief and unease. Sentenced to 10 years in prison, Freshour's fate seemed sealed. Had they caught the Circleville writer? Was it finally over? The town hoped so. Circleville wanted to believe it was, but doubt lingered. Whispers of uncertainty spread. Freshour's conviction seemed too easy, too convenient, too neat. And the letters, they hadn't stopped. They continued to arrive, unsettling the town. The trial answered some questions but raised many more. Was Freshour a scapegoat? A pawn in a larger game? A patsy to appease the terrified town? Or was there more to the story? Or was he the mastermind behind the letters all along, the true architect of the town's fear? The truth, it seemed, was still out there, hidden in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. Section 6. The pen won't stay silent. The letters continued even with Freshour behind bars. The same handwriting, the same chilling tone. It was as if the writer was mocking the authorities, rubbing their nose in their failure to stop them. The letters claimed Freshour was innocent, a pawn in a larger game. Was the real writer still out there, pulling the strings from the shadows? The mystery deepened. The prison officials swore Freshour couldn't be responsible for the letters. He was kept under close watch, no access to writing materials. Yet the letters kept appearing in Circleville. The town was in turmoil. The arrest should have brought closure. Instead, it amplified the fear. The writer was still in control, more powerful than ever. The letters from prison were a haunting reminder. The mystery wasn't solved. It was far from over. The writer was still out there, somewhere in the shadows, watching, waiting. Section 7. Who held the pen? The town holds its breath. Theories swirled like dust devils in the wind, each one as unsettling as the last. Was Mary somehow involved? Had she orchestrated the entire thing? Was there a second writer? Someone working with Freshour? Or was it a wider conspiracy? A group of people driven by some unknown motive. The town held its breath, whispering suspicions, casting blame. Some suspected the sheriff's office, a rogue officer covering up their own involvement. Others pointed to a disgruntled citizen, seeking revenge for a perceived wrong. The theories were endless, each one plausible, none definitive. The truth remained elusive, hidden in the tangled web of speculation. The Circleville Letters became a morbid game of Clue. Everyone was a suspect, every detail a potential clue. But the puzzle remained unsolved. The mystery endured. Section 8. Circleville's Mystery, a ghost story without an ending. The Circleville Letters case remains unsolved. No one has ever been definitively linked to the letters. Paul Freshour maintained his innocence until his death in 1994. Mary Gillespie passed away in 2003. The letters stopped with her death. But the questions remain. Who was the Circleville writer? What drove them to terrorize a town for decades? And Why did the letters stop? The Circleville Letters stand as a chilling reminder of the power of anonymity, of the darkness that can fester in seemingly ordinary places. It's a story without an ending, a ghost story that continues to haunt Circleville, a reminder that some mysteries are never truly solved. They linger in the collective memory, whispered on the wind, a chilling echo of a town forever marked by the shadow of the writer. The truth, lost somewhere in the passage of time, leaving behind a legacy of fear, uncertainty, and a mystery that refuses to be forgotten.